Hi everybody, and welcome to my signature presentation. My name is Miranda Kleins. Just as a heads up, I've got all of my fur babies running around, so they may jump up here and try to say hi to us while we're in the process. But anyways, outside of that, let's get going. Here's one, Mr. White, recently adopted. He adopted us. So anyways. So today we're going to talk about which NACE standard I chose. I'm going to present some artifacts for y'all, and then we're going to talk about why I chose those artifacts and how I hope to take some knowledge gained from those assignments, whatever, how I intend to take that knowledge and apply it into the real world. So let's get started. For my standard, I chose number 6. I was really trying to think outside the box and pick a standard I haven't had to do yet. Because I feel like that's the whole point of this program, is that we're slowly working our way through the standards, and that we're supposed to, prove competency in all areas. So I chose number 6, which is all about professionalism and advocacy as an early childhood educator. So first, we as educators need to identify as the professionals we are, and then serve as advocates or that voice for our families and the kiddos in our schools and within our communities. We have to have knowledge of ethical guidelines and how to do things the right way, not cutting those corners, and then possess professional communication skills so we can get our points across, so we can make sure that we are being the best and most effective educators we can. The last two are all about being able to have that self-reflection and understand that we don't know everything, and that we need to be lifelong learners. So let's look at the artifacts I chose and how I feel like they best fit into proving competency of standard number 6. So for our signature assignment, we had to interview a local policymaker, and I was not really interested in talking to one of those big boy bureaucrats. Also, Josh Hawley is my senator, so who wants to talk to him? Nobody is the answer. Anyways, politics aside, I chose to talk to Chris Horn, a local member of our school board. Now, Chris Horn and I met about a year ago now because he decided he wanted to volunteer for the program I run, because I run a children's program at a domestic violence shelter. So anyway, he came to one of our volunteer trainings. We got connected that way, and he volunteers off and on with our kiddos. So one of the first questions I asked Chris was, why did you get into being on the school board? Did you just wake up one day and you're like, that's what I want to do with my life? And the answer was really surprising. He was like, no, I didn't have, this burning passion for public policy. I didn't really have a background in education. The joke he made was that his exposure to education was having received one. So anyways, but he really talked about in that interview the importance of being a professional, being an advocate, and how we can use our collective background knowledge of the community to really inspire change. One of the reoccurring themes that we talked about was how change happens at the grassroots level. So it starts here in Columbia or wherever your city is. It starts there and then ripples out. And that is really where momentum is going to pick up. That's where change is going to happen. And that's where people are going to be most impacted by policy. So it was really a great conversation. Really happy we got to connect because I too hold a lot of those beliefs. So anyway, like I said, he doesn't have that background in education. However, he does have that knowledge of the different topics of social justice and how they're affecting not only the kiddos in school, but his own daughter. So he mentioned that as being his real driving force for getting into, educational leadership, was because he's got two little ones of his own, and he wants to make the schools a better place for them when they get older. The last part is he really talked about how communication is a huge part of being an educational leader or a policymaker. I had it in my head that, I think of a policy, I write it down, and then somebody votes on it. Not sure who voted on it, but somebody votes, and it gets passed. It's not how it works. So he really talked me through that process of the public forums and the court of public opinion, and how it really is a communication back and forth between the policymakers, the staff at the school, and then the families that attend that school. So really just great stuff. Pretty fun essay to write. I thought I liked it. But anyways, my second artifact is not an assignment. I know, don't kill me. But here we go. I chose it because I really do think it was proof of my knowledge, and proof of being able to take what we've learned in this class and apply it in my professional career. So, as I said, I work at a domestic violence shelter, and in using that communication, like we talked about in Standard 6, I was hearing from my families, the families I serve, that many of them were not happy with some of the policies we have in place regarding kiddos. So currently our policy is that children of all ages, that means 17-year-olds and 2-year-olds and infants, all of them, they have to be with their moms 100% of the time. There's no exceptions. So if baby's sleeping, mom can't come downstairs without baby. If 17-year-old forgets his shoes upstairs, mom has to go with him so that he can grab his shoes. So, and listening to what they were saying, it was really just so stringent, and it was creating an environment where people were not able to be successful because we were being too strict with our rules. So I heard what they had to say, and I went out and I did some research. So I contacted every domestic violence shelter in Missouri. Folks, it was a long list, surprisingly. Good surprising, but anyway. And I contacted every single one of the shelters to figure out what their policies are, what was working, what they felt they needed to improve upon. And then I was able to utilize the format that we used for our policy proposal for this class. I used that same format, and I wrote up a proposal for what I think we needed to do differently in my program, identifying the current need, and then what my changes were. Before submitting that to my supervisor, I took it to the moms. We had a small powwow. And I heard their voices. Do you guys think this is good? Do you think we need improvements? And we did that voting, again, of what they felt like was working and what needed to be changed. So, for example, I had said, okay, let's let moms come downstairs for 30 minutes at a time if their babies are asleep. And the mom said, nope, that's still not long enough. I can't do anything in 30 minutes. How about an hour? So we beefed it up. Long story short, the policy proposal got approved by my supervisor, got approved by the executive director, and is in the final stages of approval with our board of directors. So hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have my answer and we can move forward on this. So let's ask ourselves the question then. Whole point of all this rambling is, do these two artifacts prove competencies and that standard number 6? Let's scroll on back to number 6 here. First of all, I do think it proves that I can be a professional and an advocate for the kiddos, the moms, and the families in my program. I feel like I'm using some ethical guidelines there, so I'm understanding like, hey, moms do have to supervise their kiddos, but maybe not all the time, right? Like we don't have to be there every minute of the day, and understanding that different cultures have different parenting styles, and we need to be more inclusive of that. I use my communication skills, got that policy written, hopefully going to get it approved. And then that reflection piece, so understanding that my initial piece needed to be reviewed by my folks, the families I serve, and then recognizing that I didn't have all the answers and I had to change some of that. I skipped over lifelong learners because I feel like that's kind of self-given, I guess, because I was a lifelong learner. I'm enrolled in my master's program. I took what I learned right away and was able to apply it. So going back to this question, do these artifacts prove that I'm competent in standard number 6? I think so. I really did try to demonstrate an understanding of all of those different subsets. And then moving further, applying that knowledge I gained through my interaction with Chris, I really think it's going to help me improve my ability to be a professional as an educational leader. So that's about it, guys. I know, super quick, but that's all. Thank you for watching. If I had to sum this whole presentation up, it's all about professionalism as an early childhood educator, and really looking at number 6 to give us that guideline of how to do that. So anyways, here are my references for my signature assignment. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your semester. Good luck. Bye.